President Biden sat down for a rare one-on-one interview last night, not with a journalist, of course, but with NBC late night host Seth Meyers. During that softball interview, Biden shrugged off concerns about his age and tried to flip the script, going after Donald Trump.
Some documents recently leaked, some classified documents. And this isn't a gotcha show, but I do want to ask about it, that says you are currently 81 years old.
Who the hell told you that?
Yeah.
That's classified. Number one, you got to take a look at the other guy. He's about as old as I am, but he can't remember his wife's name. It's about how old your ideas are. Look, I mean, this is a guy who wants to take us back.
But while President Biden may be cracking jokes with Seth Meyers, he's become the joke to critics around the globe. Just watch this skit from an Italian TV show.
Buonasera, Presidente Biden. Presidente. Good evening, Mr. President. Stay quiet. Okay. No.
Bravo, as they say. Kaylee, what are your thoughts on the interview?
Look, this was definitely an attempt to resurrect his likability. His approval has been under the water. You can see it in this Harvard-Harris poll. Trump is up, and he is actually underwater by double digits. So I think this is a smart communication strategy. The interview, I laughed here and there. Other parts, no. He seemed old and to kind of fit into the stereotype that he has been given, rightfully so. But I think what you are watching here is a carefully curated trip out of the metaphorical basement. And I say metaphorical because the basement's in Delaware. The new basement is the White House residence. We will not see from him often. When we do, it will be carefully curated. And I would love to know how carefully curated this was. He seemed very prepped to pull out his aviators, to act like he was walking off set. He had a great answer to this Taylor Swift question. How did Seth Meyers give him these topics in advance? I have no idea, but I would love to know because he seemed very cute and prepped for this.
Yeah. I want to know why he's not cute and prepped for a real sit-down with a journalist. Like, when is that going to come? And it's necessary now if he's getting ready to change border policy. That'll be one of the bigger things that he does in his presidency if he can effectively do it. Although when you broke some news and told us what wasn't going to happen in terms of executive orders, now I'm not really sure what that's going to look like. But I'm still waiting for that occasion for the president, whomever he would like to sit down with, who's an actual journalist, to ask him some tough questions about why did you wait so long? Why didn't you consider helping out your party to take a look at H.R. 2 when the House sent that Republican-led resolution over? Why didn't you jump in then? Like, what have you been doing with the relationship with Iran? What are your goals? What do they always ask people? Oh, what's your foreign doctrine? Nobody can ever really answer that. But what is your policy going to look like? And we don't get that. We don't get it, and we don't get enough of it. And so we wait for the ice cream shop moments and Seth Meyers, and who can't answer a Taylor Swift question easy? My gosh, the woman wears diamond-encrusted Louboutin boots.
And that's what it's like for us on the home front, Congressman. But the reality is, globally, we're being mocked. Everyone is laughing at the commander-in-chief. We're heartbroken. Yeah. They're mocking us.
Well, the question is, whatever happened? I mean, it is the satire. It's the court jester is always the one that actually says things that nobody else can say. Whatever happened to late-night TV, which used to serve as that? They used to serve as that sort of stark reminder. It may be piercing. You may not like it if you're on that political side, but it actually represented a different opinion, sort of a punching bag, if you would. But it was always to a point of saying, let's get back to a reality. This is not reality. Okay, I go back to you. This was practice. It was prep. I came in last night. The only thing he did here was upset New Yorkers on that street right out there because we had to go all the way around because he's sitting inside. And his aviators, give me a break. His aviators were, he didn't have them on the plane. He had them in there because they'd already practiced.
That's Dark Brandon. That's Dark Brandon.
Would you have asked a Dark Brandon question? Would in a million years you'd have thought about Dark Brandon? Unless you prepped it.
Yeah.
That's what
he might have wanted to put the glasses on if he possibly.
True. Well, we definitely have the Gutfeld Show, which is our late night that does exactly that. It's independent, free thinking, and it pushes the envelope because Americans deserve to hear the truth, but they will not hear it to that point anywhere around, I guess, where Biden is. If these softball interviews keep happening and the world keeps mocking.
I would love for the president to have crossed the street and come over to Fox and sat with any of 24 people you know, for a challenging and respectful discussion and debate about what's happening in this country, because, you know, we are in very serious and dire times. From immigration to inflation, people are very concerned, and it's like yucking it up with the president doesn't do anything to make it better. And they obviously buried him on an unfunny and unwatched show with Seth Meyers, because if they wanted to showcase his comedic talents, then I'm sure someone would have gone along for the ride during the Super Bowl. But they don't want him to be seen. It has to be so carefully constricted.
Yeah.
And I think it's
And
telling.
they poke him when they want him to speak.
Yeah.
Sad.
And it's telling that the only late night comedy show that pokes fun of him is apparently global, besides Gutfeld, right? You know, none of them dare to do it. Oh, Mr. President, let's just ask you softball questions.